Wilsey Asset Management presents today's market update.
And here's a live look at the big board. At 7:42, you can see the Dow is up about a point or two here. Boeing says it's going to burn more cash in the first quarter than previously expected. They're pushing back production to deal with quality issues. Investment scams are costing Americans billions of dollars. And here to share how to protect yourself is our friend Chase Wilsey with Wilsey Asset Management. First of all, good morning.
Good morning.
You know, I'm like, okay, Chase is here. This is good. And I'm like, oh, we're talking about this. This is such an important topic, even though it's like, you know, like it's such a hard thing to talk about. But you know what? We got to know. We have to know.
You got to know. And I think I was watching CNBC this morning. I think they said it's like International Happiness Day. And I'm like, gosh, today's not a very good topic.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know that. So there you go. Well, okay, so these investment scams, I said, oh, scams are nothing new, but you're saying, but there are, I guess, newer scams that are being birthed out of AI and whatnot. But how does this relate to the investment scams?
So, I mean, there's a couple of things you got to watch out for. I mean, there's kind of two different main scams I want to talk about today. Number one is the investment scams. I mean, people generally, they want to fall for something hot to kind of get in, and unfortunately people want to make a quick buck essentially at the end of the day, and they fall for that allure. Two of the big kind of investment scams I've seen lately, number one is cryptocurrency. You know, everybody loves crypto. It's gone up especially a lot lately, so it's in the news more, and people want to get into cryptocurrency. So, you know, they'll fall for different scams. One you got to watch out for is what they call like a phantom platform. It's where it's not a real website, it's not a real investment place, and they offer you the allure of investing in cryptocurrency, but really they're just taking your money at the end of the day. So be very, very careful with cryptocurrency. The other one too is penny stocks. This was actually one that I saw recently. It's kind of, I haven't seen it as prevalent, but it's something you got to be mindful of it. And penny stocks is something that frankly can move the market very quickly. So the recent scam, the gentleman, what he did was he went on social media, he hyped up this penny stock, and just make numbers simple, let's say a penny stock has like $1 million market cap. Well, if you can get $1 million to flow into that penny stock, you double that price essentially. If you get $1 million to flow into a company like Apple that's worth over $2 trillion, you're not going to move the needle. So by getting money to flow into these penny stocks, it's something that people can profit off of. He made $1 million in just a couple months by profiting off other people and using his social media platform. So with investment scams, you got to be very, very careful where that information is coming from.
Well, even with the cryptocurrency scam that you're talking about, how do you know if it's not a phantom, what is it, a phantom site that you said?
Phantom platform.
Or platform. How do you know? Because, I mean, I don't know a whole lot about cryptocurrency, but what are some of the things you need to look out for?
I mean, I tell people I'm not a fan of cryptocurrency to begin with. I don't really see the value of it. It doesn't really produce earnings, cash flow. It's not like real estate where you can get rents from it. So I'm not a big advocate of crypto because I don't understand it. I always tell people if you don't invest in something that you don't understand, that's the step number one. But even now, if you want to invest in cryptocurrency, you want to take that chance, they're in ETFs. They have, you know, you can buy Bitcoin directly. I'm not advocating for that, but if that's the way you want to do it that way. Don't fall for some guy on social media that's saying, hey, I got an easy way for you to buy Bitcoin. That's not how you want to do it.
So what other ways can we protect ourselves? Because you're talking about the two main ones that you see happening now, but I've been talking to my parents, my brother and sister. I'm like, hey, watch out for this. I feel like every week I see something new, and AI has made it worse. And so it's just like, how do we protect ourselves?
So, I mean, there's a couple of things you got to think about here. Number one, you talked about it, it's great, the communication. A lot of times elderly people, you know, your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, whatever it may be, they're not as in tune with, I'm going to say, the AI movement and things like that. So there was actually a study done by FINRA, and they actually said that if people are more aware of these scams, they're 80% less likely to fall victim to actually engaging. And if they do engage, they're 40% less likely to actually lose money or give away personal information. So that communication is so important. The other thing too, it's kind of a simple thing, but frankly, those robocalls, they are so prominent now, and it's kind of scary. They can now use free online tools. If they capture just 3 seconds of your voice, they can then use your voice to, let's say, call your grandparents and say, hey, I'm stuck in Mexico and I can't get out of jail. Well, don't answer calls that you don't know where that number is coming from. And if they do leave a message and a worthwhile call, give them a call back. But those robocalls, you've got to avoid them. So, I mean, those are some simple steps. Also, too, the very easy thing I always tell people, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And you want to know where that information you're getting it from. Don't go for social media, TikTok, Instagram. There's a lot of kind of bad actors out there. You want to find reputable sources at the end of the day.
Pause and do your own research. So, Chase, I mean, we could talk about this for a lot longer, but pause and do your own research.
And educate, communicate. That's the big thing.
Oh my gosh. Well, Chase, thank you. International Happiness Day. We're gonna, you know what? We've talked about it. We're communicating. We're educating. Yeah. So this is good. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thanks for having me.